This morning session, we're so glad that we have Mr. Kashif and Mr. Kumaravel who's joined us for this panel. What we're trying to achieve out of this panel is that because as I sit in the franchising world and deal with a lot of small businesses, I've seen that one sector which has shown phenomenal growth in the last particularly 3 to 4 years is the health, beauty and the wellness sector. Now, why it has grown and gone on to become such a great small business idea is something that the panel will help us figure out. And also, I have seen that the way the sector has grown, and particularly most service sectors have grown, is by the use of the franchising format. Now, what makes, and it's a format which probably used to only be limited to very few businesses sometimes back, but today it's pretty much applicable in its various forms in almost all sorts of businesses. So what makes the franchising format the way it is something that we'll also kind of try to bring out in this session. So I'll firstly talk to Mr. Kumaravel in first understanding. Let's understand why beauty market or why the health business, wellness business is a great super small business idea today. So what has changed? Salon was always a more unorganized market in India. And as maybe, in the morning we were talking, there's some businesses which have continued to remain unorganized, but this is one particular business idea which has organized itself to a very, very different level. I work with so many sectors. Even the restaurant sector has not managed to take the big leap in terms of growth as the salon sector has done it. So what has changed with the salon consumption in the last few years that the sector has become such a friendly sector in organized terms for growth?
Morning, friends. The market has already been there. It is nothing we have created new. We are only branding a commodity. So that's exactly what we have done. The India has arrived, the Indians have arrived with the advent of all the technology, the television, the communication, and also the IT sectors and the other hospitality industry. The grooming has become a very important part. So I think the gender working has really is a very important phenomena which has happened. Money availability, extra money availability is a very important thing which has happened. And communication, the television and the other thing, the fashion trends, what has come. I think these are the external factors which has influenced which has unearthed already the need was there. People used to go to a salon and get only a basic haircut. But today they go and do coloring, they do what you call designer beard designing, they do blow dries. So many other services has come to play. That's what I would say.
Sure. Mr. Kashif, I come to you. Spa as a business concept was pretty much unknown to India till about a few years back.
What I think basically spa was more organized. Spa in our language was there in all the 5-star hotels.
Right.
We did a very simple thing. We bridged the gap between a common man and a luxury item.
Right.
We got the spas out of the hotels and put it across on the high streets. So
Right.
a common man, a person with a decent income group was much more open to the idea of going to spas. That's all what triggered us, our growth. We've now they're in cities you won't believe. We are in cities like Bilaspur or a Guwahati or a Bhilai. So the spa was a much more bigger challenge for us, getting something which is much more organized, run by a very professional outfits like the 5-star hotels, to get them on the streets. But we did that, and I think that triggered our expansion.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think what we understood after that was there's a huge potential of luxury products for a common man. If you come with a product which is rightly priced, I'm sure you'll have a big market. That's what we did at the spa industry.
Right, right.
If you I don't think so 4 years before you would hear about a spa on a high street. There was nothing like a day spa. A spa used to be always there in a 5-star, 7-star hotel.
Right.
Used to be considered as the luxury of the rich and famous. But then we got this out, we got a successful model. And that's where we started growing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great thought. And besides what it has done for the beauty markets, there's a great message here for thinking small business ideas. Sometimes the idea does not have to be as disruptive as creating a Facebook or something similar to that. Sometimes it's as simple as looking around you and figuring what needs to probably, in his case, it was bringing a business which was probably only a, or which was only, there with a five-star or a luxury hotel to come out into the main market or come out for the common man to use, which is again, a great business case to have, or think of a small business idea around your environment or looking around where this idea actually lies. So I think that's a great thought, and he's right in saying that there are some business ideas which are always there in the market. They just need to be picked up according to, or just need to be dabbled according to how you feel that business may come out. So, but my question to you is, what has changed in terms of the consumption? Now, how does a person perceive going to a salon or a spa differently as compared to what he used to do about 4 or 5 years back, or maybe let's say even 7, 8 years back?
What I understand is like, and the average Indian right now is very well traveled. He's more accessible to the international markets. When you go abroad, when you look into Europe, you look into America, the salon chains, there's one chain of spas in America, 800 spas, Spa and V. Supercuts, salon chain, 8,000. They are the people who own some of the biggest brands of beauty products, the Vital Sasson. So what I understand is the Indian has traveled across, has seen what is happening, has seen the trend in personal grooming, personal hygiene, and wants to adapt that same change. And as Mr. Kumar well said, the technology, the communication, the gates opening to a lot of variations, what is happening around the world. Educates a common man in telling himself or herself, I need to groom myself, I need to be presentable. And when he starts thinking this, immediately the next stop is a salon or a spa. You start looking, you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to be good. So they would want to go start investing in their personal grooming, personal hygiene. So these are the things, the changes that has happened in the last 4 to 5 years. And I think that is the reason the salon, the spa industry have sprung up like crazy.
How far, Mr. Kumaravel, how far do you think it has to do with the fact that, and you said that the gender equality is now becoming far more open as compared to what it used to be, let's say, a decade back. So how far do you think that has played a role in terms of increasing the salon business in this country or making it more organized, with more women coming into play, with more women starting businesses? You feel, and I remember you mentioning in one of the times where you said that a good part of your chain, women participation is very, very high. Your own wife started the business in this case. But, so how far do you think that change has actually helped the beauty salon or the spa industry to come in the forefront?
No, from a customer perspective, I think the women always used to spend a lot more money on beauty parlors, and beauty is one of the important requirement from a women perspective, and that's been happening. Only thing, when it is more organized and they were given a better quality product and a better ambience and a better trained people, they start spending a lot more.
Right.
So I think that will be my take in terms of I would say that the unisex environment in a salon space especially, we have seen both men and women have started spending a lot more in a unisex environment rather than they will go on a standalone men alone or women alone segment. So that will be my...
No, but my question is more from a business perspective, that how far do you think women have made this business grow in the last few years? What role has women played in terms of helping this grow as a small business idea? Because you think more women have actually joined this business, which has, anyway it was a women dominated business even before that, even when it was started out of a small house or a small room. But do you think that more women participation or active participation has actually changed it as a business, made it more organized? Or what do you think has changed in terms of women participation in this business? A lot more than what it used to happen, not as a customer, but as a business owner.
No, I started Naturals to get my wife self-employed and earn 60,000 rupees per month. That was the whole objective with which it was started. But after reaching the phase 2, which is we had 6 salons at a point of time, where I used to manage 3 salons and my wife used to manage 3 salons. That is when we felt we should move on further and go into franchising. Franchising of a salon means two things which is very important. One is it's a beauty business, so it comes very naturally to women. Second is it's a hospitality industry. That also women are far more better. So we spoke to more set of friends, first set of friends, of cousins and friends, and made them the women entrepreneur and started pushing. But what was my insight, which I didn't realize at that point, which when I hindsight I am looking at, is women are very good to work in a franchise setup because they are very sincere, they are very detailed oriented, and they are not very ambitious. All these three are very important for franchising. Men tend to get carried away, they cross the line, they put us also into more trouble. Controlling them becomes far more difficult, whereas for franchising, women is an extraordinary strong point.
Sure. You also felt that?
In fact, I think I would like to differ here. In last 4 or 5 years, the men grooming has increased. Okay, so if you must have seen before 5 years, there would be hardly any unisex salons. There would be men salon, female salons separate. But in 5 years, if you go back, you'll see a lot of unisex salons started coming up. Why? Because the man has started going to the salon, started believing in a manicure, a pedicure, or a spa treatment. So what has happened, what I think is, the man who is like a little driving force back home, has understood that this is a very good growing industry. So people have started taking it much more seriously. Because the man and the woman then think in the house, oh wow, this is a good business idea. So I think that has added a lot. The conversion of a man to spend a lot more on grooming for himself has added on to this industry. And that is the reason if you see now, you see so many men products. When do you remember last when you saw like a fair and handsome fairness cream? It just started 5 years back. You know, if you see every brand, maybe Garnier, maybe L'Oreal or anybody, they have started separate section of men products. And this has come only in the last 5-6 years.
So I think that's really pretty interesting. The panel has two dissect set of views over here. Mr. Kashif Khan feels that it's only because men became the customer and became a far more spending customer in the beauty and the wellness sector, that a home-based idea actually became a good organized business opportunity, which is, I think you're pretty right in saying that it was actually a very home-based sort of business till about 15 years back. But now it's become a far more organized business because there is more dollar coming in, or there's more rupee coming into this business than what it used to happen a few years back. While, you know what I think Mr. Kumaravel is trying to point out over here is that as a business idea, it has always been more women dominated. Even if you go back and see where our biggest chains actually started with Shehnaz and probably VLCC with women in the lead. But what has happened with women owners is that, you know, a lot of women have been able to get into the salon business by the virtue of franchising, who might want to do it. At some point of time, they wanted to start a salon but couldn't do it because obviously they did not have the skills which were to service, which are services which are required in the salon.